Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Tomlin Steelers must assess damage attrition has caused to middle of defense. The Pittsburgh Steelers could potentially be without their top 2 linebackers and their top 3 safeties when they play the Cincinnati Bengals on Saturday. That's unlikely, since I don't imagine Damontae Kazee will get suspended for the hit that caused him to be ejected from the last game, but the rest is either possible, probable, or already assured. ILB's Cole Holcomb and Quan Alexander have already been lost for the season for several weeks now. Minkah Fitzpatrick only fairly recently returned from a 4-game absence due to a hamstring injury. In the midst of that, Keanu Neal went down as well. He is on the reserve/injured list and eligible to return to practice, but as of yet, has not. We've got some attrition going on in the interior portions of our defense at linebacker and safety, so we've got to assess that, head coach Mike Tomlin said following his team's loss to the Indianapolis Colts on Saturday. Kazee was ejected on one play and Fitzpatrick injured his knee on the next when CB Patrick Peterson fell on him. And for the rest of the game, they very much looked like a defense playing with second or third options throughout the middle of the defense. No disrespect to DL Keanu Benton and ILB Landon Roberts, who have been 2 of the Steelers' best players on defense all season, but the interior is just too thin right now and they're being gutted. What can they do? Not much, when it comes to safety, beyond hoping that Fitzpatrick is okay. Kazee, as I mentioned, should be available as well, and perhaps Neal will even return this week. They could be at full health there, in actuality, with Trenton Thompson rising in the ranks during their injuries. But inside linebacker is another matter. Roberts is still there, but Michael Walker and Mark Robinson are not proving up to the tasks set before them. Blake Martinez could get another shot after being inactive last week, and Miles Jack is still on the practice squad, but we might be shuffling chairs on the deck of the Titanic at this point. Those were Tomlin's words on Saturday night after his defense was just embarrassed by the Colts, blowing a 13-point lead by allowing 30 unanswered. A trio of offensive turnovers didn't help, but none of those points were scored by the Indianapolis defense, and the fact of the matter is that they have allowed 9 touchdowns over the past 3 games. This entire season has felt like attrition. Not unlike the 2020 season in which they began the year on an 11-game winning streak, the fall always felt inevitable. They were punching above their weight before now, and their defense has only gotten thinner in the ensuing weeks. At this point we have to ask, how much meat is left on their bones? George Pickens draws criticism from fans after loafing off instead of blocking on crucial assignment. After Saturday's loss, a video circulated to underline a compilation of blocks from George Pickens and Deontay Johnson in recent weeks. Steelers receiver George Pickens was seen loafing when he should have been blocking. In the game against the Colts, RB Jaylen Warren found an opening and burst toward the goal line. Pickens was seen loafing off when he was supposed to block and make a touchdown-saving tackle on Warren. As claimed, if thrown a block at that moment, running back Warren would have scored a touchdown on the play in question. Earlier, Pickens in contrary shared to Kevin Clark, then of TheRinger.com, "So every time I'm out there, that's why I throw the blocks. I love getting the ball, and when I'm not getting the ball I play angry, so the attention is back on me. I basically draw attention to myself." Apparently this is the second time this year, Steelers fans shares criticism on W.R. Pickens as he appeared to completely gave up on a play during a game. The second time came on Saturday against the Colts, when cameras caught him giving no effort on a block during a run play. Following, the fans are pouring to rip Pickens for not giving any effort to block for teammate Warren, possibly could have resulted in a touchdown. In another moment, he appeared to give up on a play after Mitch Trubisky threw an interception that was towards the wide receiver. Former NFL scout believes Mike Tomlin should want to be fired. After suffering their 3rd straight loss yesterday to the Indianapolis Colts, the Pittsburgh Steelers find themselves in uncharted territory as they look like a team without a sense of direction. That and #8217 is saying a lot about this franchise as head coach Mike Tomlin has captained the ship in Pittsburgh since 2007, becoming one of the more well-renowned figures in the league after making 2 Super Bowl appearances, winning 1 and never posting a season below .500. Still, Pittsburgh has underwhelmed in recent seasons, and that has culminated in 2023 with the team dropping their 3rd consecutive loss after sitting at 7-4 in the perfect position to make a run down the stretch for a playoff berth. Many have criticized Tomlin for this team's downfall and lack of urgency and execution in recent weeks, with former NFL scout John Middlecoff stating on the 3 and Out podcast that Tomlin should want owner Art Rooney to call him into his office after the season for he and the Steelers to go their separate ways. "I think that Mike Tomlin should want to be fired at this moment with where they are at," Middlecoff said on 3 and Out. "It's just time. I've been fired twice. Best thing that's ever happened to me. Both times went on to have more success and make more money. It's time for a break." Tomlin owned up to Pittsburgh's lack of success last night in the post-game press conference, stating that his team is a fundamentally poor football group at the moment and that he takes responsibility for it. His team managed to get up to a 13-0 lead to start the game, but gave up 30 unanswered points to a Colts offense that lost Wr. Michael Pittman Jr. and Zach Moss to injuries while also entering the game without QB Anthony Richardson and RB Jonathan Taylor, seeing the combination of RBs Trey Sermon and Tyler Goodson run for over 150 yards on Pittsburgh's defense. The offense wasn't any better as QB Mitch Trubisky struggled mightily, making mistakes by throwing into coverage while seeing a lack of effort by receivers in the blocking department as well as plenty of pre-snap penalties that have plagued this team for weeks. Tomlin himself also lived in his fears, opting to punt instead of trusting Chris Boswell to hit a 56-yard field goal, which is well within the big-legged kicker's range. Needless to say, the season has unraveled for Pittsburgh in the worst way, having a chance to win the division turn into them likely missing the playoffs entirely while trying to get another season above .500. Tomlin has been criticized for not making the decision necessary to elicit positive change, sitting to his traditional ways while the team continually loses games they should win. Plenty have questioned if Tomlin and #8217s lost his edge that he had when he first got to Pittsburgh, seeing his team underwhelm and play down to their opponent than win games comfortably that they should win. Given the number of teams that would be interested in Tomlin should he become available as well as the TV networks that would throw him big money should he decide to leave coaching altogether, Middlecoff suggests that Tomlin should want to have Pittsburgh cut ties with him to get a fresh start somewhere else rather than attempt to resurrect something that appears broken. Tomlin is an icon in Pittsburgh, and likely will play out the final year of his contract in 2024 barring this late season slide continuing by losing out the rest of the way. Still, Tomlin's seat has gotten the hottest it's been since he came to Pittsburgh, and he and this team will have to find some way to get some positive momentum going to keep his job and other coaches and players' jobs safe heading into a pivotal offseason. And you fan, what do you think of the Mike Tomlin situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.